Today, we're diving into the secret weapon behind every single great product. It's not about having more features or a bigger budget. It's about understanding the user's problem better than anyone else, maybe even better than they understand it themselves. We see these brilliant ideas, talented teams, tons of cash poured into a product that just falls flat. Why does this happen over and over again? Well, the first clue comes from product management guru Marty Kagan. And it's not just a nice little platitude, it is a fundamental shift in thinking. It tells us that the number one mistake we all make is that we fall in love with our clever solution way too early, long before we've truly diagnosed the actual problem. All right, so here's our game plan to really crack this case. First, we're going to learn how to truly embrace the problem. Then we'll tune our ears to hear the voice of the customer. After that, we'll open up our discovery toolkit, learn how to connect the dots from data to insight, and even see how AI can give us a boost. And we'll wrap it all up with a killer case study from Dropbox. Okay, first things first. The best product managers out there, they aren't obsessed with launching things. Their real job is to become the world's leading expert on their users' pain. That means discovery isn't a phase you finish. It's a constant process of learning, always asking, what is my user really going through right now? So, how do we find that pain? Where do we start looking for the problem? Well, our first big lead in this investigation is learning to listen for something called the voice of the customer. This is where the gold is buried. And voice of the customer, or VOC, it's not just about, passively listening. It's a whole system. It's a structured way to hear what users are saying, and then, more importantly, to translate that into what they actually mean. It's all about getting to the core of their real needs. And the awesome thing is, these clues are absolutely everywhere. I'm not just talking about formal interviews. They're in the digital breadcrumbs users leave behind, in app reviews, in Ingry support tickets, in random social media threads, and even in how they click around your app. Every single one is a piece of the puzzle. All right, every good detective needs their toolkit, right? Once you've gathered all those clues, you need the right instruments to make sense of them. So let's open up the bag and look at the essential methods for uncovering what's really going on. Your two most important tools are qualitative and quantitative data. Just think of it like this. Qualitative data, that's from your interviews. It tells you why a user is frustrated. It gives you the story. Quantitative data, that's from your analytics. It tells you how many users are getting stuck and exactly where it's happening. You absolutely need both to see the whole picture. Now, one of my favorite tools for this is the empathy map. It's a simple framework that forces you to go deeper than what a user just says. What are they thinking but holding back? What crazy workarounds are they doing? And what emotions are really driving their behavior? Let me tell you, the gap between what people say and what they do, that's where the magic happens. And another brilliantly simple technique, the 5 whys. It's like you're a detective in an interrogation room. You start with a surface level problem, like, hey, users are leaving our app really fast. And then you just keep asking, why? Why are they leaving? Because onboarding's a pain. Why is it a pain? Too many steps. You just keep digging like you're peeling an onion until you get to a root cause you can actually do something about. Collecting all these clues is great, but it's not enough. A pile of data is just noise. The real art, the real skill, is assembling all those scattered pieces into a story that reveals a powerful, actionable insight. A customer journey map is a fantastic tool for telling that story. It helps you actually see the user's entire experience with your product, from the very first time they hear about you, all the way to becoming a huge fan. This map shows you exactly where things get clunky, and, just as important, where you have a chance to create a moment of pure magic for them. So your goal is to boil everything down into a clear, powerful insight statement. This isn't just a summary, it's a diagnosis. It's got 3 key parts: a specific user, the who, their obvious pain point, the what, and the underlying reason for that pain, the why. An insight this sharp gets your whole team on the exact same page about the problem you're here to solve. Okay, so in today's world, a modern product detective gets a pretty incredible assistant: artificial intelligence. Now, the idea here isn't to replace your brain or your intuition, it's to give you research superpowers. Look, AI can't feel empathy for you, but it can absolutely amplify yours. Just imagine being able to automate all the boring, tedious parts of research so you can spend your time on what actually matters, understanding the human story hiding in the data. So, the big question. Does all this detective work really pay off in the real world? Oh, you bet it does. Let's look at a classic mystery solve story from the early days of Dropbox. They had a really cool product, but they were seriously struggling to get people to use it. So they went back to basics. They did the discovery work, they uncovered a core insight, made one simple change, and saw this number. A huge, staggering number. But what does it mean? That number represents a 500% jump in user adoption. So, what was the big, earth shattering insight? It was actually super simple. Through their interviews, they realized their users weren't techies. They were totally confused by jargon like cloud storage. The real problem, the simple human need was I just want my files to be everywhere without thinking about it. So, they stopped selling cloud storage and started selling your stuff anywhere. And that's when things exploded. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that great product discovery is all about being a relentless detective of human needs. You're not there to prove your own ideas right. You're there to find the truth, using both data and empathy as your guides, and never, ever stop being curious. And that brings us to the final question, a question for you. Now that you have the Detective's Toolkit, what's that one hidden problem, that one deep user need that you're going to fall in love with first?